Board of County Commissioners now in session. Brother John Sink, do you mind saying the prayer and we'll follow with the pledge? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and good morning, Commissioners, and good morning, everyone. The other week I ran across a prayer that particularly touched me, and I'd like to share it with you. It's attributed to Mary Stuart, otherwise known as Mary, Queen of Scots, a 16th century prayer. Let us pray. Keep us, O God, from all pettiness. Let us be large in thought, in word, and in deed. Let us be done with fault-finding and leave off all self-seeking. May we put away all pretense and meet each other face to face, without self-pity and without prejudice. May we never be hasty in judgment and always be generous. Let us always take time for all things and make us to grow calm, serene, and gentle. Teach us to put into action our better impulses, to be straightforward and unafraid. Grant that we may realize that it is in the little things that life that we have differences, but in the big things of life we are one. And, oh God, let us never forget to be kind. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
my throat stopped up. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
We have the county bills.
So move.
Second.
I got one question. Michael, on the bills, why we paid the Gibson $210? Ian, you can find it out and let me know.
I would guess it's probably something to do with tourist development, but we can
Okay.
get back with you.
All right. Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, there's two sets of minutes also.
Yeah, we have two sets of minutes.
September 1st and September 3rd.
September 1st and September 3rd.
Yeah, one was the budget meeting and the other was the regular.
Okay, have two sets of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Howard Neighbors, Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
All right.
I just got one item on the M313 should be, if not this week, maybe next week, the machine should be in, so the bush cutter and all.
You have one of them on your, don't you, Michael? You have one on for Howard on your list?
Yeah.
To authorize, what number, I'm
Four.
sorry. I
Four.
was kind of off guard there, yeah. On the contract, the board action to authorize the chairman's signature on the contract with Ring Power to purchase a new loader for the road department. Attorney Schuler says he's reviewed the contract already and it's okay.
That's correct. And when we looked at the minutes from the meeting where you authorized negotiations for the purchase, but you never actually authorized the chairman's execution of the contract, so we need to clean the record up and have that
So moved.
motion.
Second.
I have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything for Howard?
Just thanks, Howard, for all that you're doing and clean out the ditches, and I expect to see more being done once you get.
Yes, ma'am. A lot of cutting too, a lot of right of ways and intersecting and stuff just growed out so bad. And the road department, just getting on the grass cutting, we're just getting so much put on us that, we're just doing the best we could do. I know some places growed up, but we get to it when we can, so
You're doing a good job, Howard.
thank you.
You're doing the best you can. I mean, that's, when that grass is growing,
Yeah, in a week's time, it's just
it's right back up.
right back up. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Howard.
You're welcome. Thank y'all.
Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
They don't have nothing going on too much. Just want to let you know about the equipment. We spent about $10,000 in repairs on the 963 and spent about $20,000 on the compact. Just want to let you know it's getting old. So how old is it? This compactor, all of it's probably 10 years or better. Yeah.
That's out of your last budget you just spent?
I'm trying to get it, yes, sir.
If you're gonna have to pull any out of the new budget?
May have to on that compactor. That's just the final drives for the front end, and they say once they get into it, the rear end may need the same thing. And that's, like I said, right at 20,000, that's with them coming. If they have to haul that equipment to Tallahassee, it's another $10,000 on top of that, just to freight
Just
it.
to haul it up there?
That's correct, with the big tired wheels on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What one of them things called?
A compactor about $600,000-700,000.
But you gotta have one, because you gotta have it
Yeah.
for the solid waste.
Yeah, I know.
That's the big one there, it just sits back there, the big one, Fonda, that does the main pushing?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And also in solid waste, the radios that we have, and we use them with Pam here throughout for the storm, and we have to have them also inside the landfill. The ones that we have now is obsolete, and they just really old, outdated. So what we need to is purchase some, but I got a price on Williams Communication just for 2 radios alone, which would be for the ones needed in the back for just in case somebody get hurt or have to have it, and one up front is $5,000. I mean, we have to have them for the storm. Is that correct, Pam? Yeah. So
You got it in your budget?
it's tight, Commissioner. If not, we can get it out the new budget.
You can get out in the budget.
Yeah.
If you need them, you need them.
Got to
Okay.
have it.
All right.
So
But
much.
then that's just two, normally we need them for the trucks, but the employees been so grateful, let us call them on the cell phone as needed, so.
All right, I have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Hang on.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I might. Aren't we supposed to maintain two ways of communication in those trucks at all times
That's correct,
that has inmates in it?
yes.
Are we complying with that?
Well, yes, for as inmates, we do have cell phones. Now radio, no.
Well, you're supposed to have two.
Supposed to have-
Two
supposed to have
means of
two.
communication, that's correct.
And you're saying you got cell phones, that's one.
That's right,
You don't have anything for
No,
the
sir.
secondary?
right. The radios that they do have, like I say, it's obsolete. They just, when we put new batteries in them, they don't last long at all. I don't know what's the problem with them. Big, heavy radios.
How many trucks you got that's got to have those in?
We have 2 recycles, the 1 inmate, and 3 knuckle boom, 6.
How many?
That's just 6, out on the road. Then you have animal control, you got 2 trucks, so that's 8.
8 trucks.
The ones with the inmates is the ones that we got to maintain.
The inmates
So
is
that's-
1.
That's what I was
You
referring
only
to.
got
Okay.
one, I thought you had Michael and,
That's,
You
you're
got
right,
2
you're right.
inmate
That's
squads.
park and rec, so we
Park
have
and
2
rec.
there.
Yeah, you got 2
So you
squads.
actually need
3.
5 radios.
5 radios. 3 out on the road, 1 in the back and 1 up front. For a spare. We have the base station up front in the scale house,
Right.
but you still need a handheld for backup.
Well, I don't want to get out of compliance with, and have an issue with our inmates. If we lose our inmates, we ain't get nothing done here in Franklin County.
And that's true.
Well, I would suggest you go back and try to put together a package with Williams to see if we can't reduce the cost some, and get the equipment we need in each one of those trucks with them inmates. Because I think they're, as we previously stated, you're required to have 2 forms of communication with those. Rather than move forward on 2 radios, I'd like to go back and make sure we're in compliance.
Great.
And-
Well, how's Howard and them, how's Howard the radio and them, how they contact them with their second radio?
And they must have radios.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
don't,
hadn't brought the issue up.
Okay.
right.
But I mean, if he's having problems, then I think they require us to have 2 forms of communication. One is a backup, if you're out of cell service or whatever.
I'll call Howard now, see if I can get an answer.
Yeah, because I don't want to get fouled up like that.
Okay.
It's up to the board. I know we
Yeah,
got a motion
Yeah,
and
we
a
need
second on the
them. I know
floor.
years
Well,
ago they
wait,
had them
Mr.
radios, they
Noah
talked
asked me
back
to-
and forth.
Yeah, well, why don't we,
Yeah, amend your motion, Mr.
amend my motion to have him check the prices and everything.
And come back
Prices out
next
from,
meeting.
2 to 5, make, see what the price from 2 to 5 will be.
Okay.
And come back to us at the next meeting and we'll move forward from
And I
there.
amend my
Okay.
second to reflect that.
Okay. That it, this.
Well, we need to make a new motion or rescind the motion or
Yeah,
something.
send it, all, yeah.
Well, he just.
He
I
sent
got the amendment.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Only other thing in Park and Rec is that moving forward towards getting the soccer goals completed, the president of the soccer emailed last night and was kind of concerned about the goals, but we actually have the goals cut out and ready to glue together. We're doing them out of PVC, and the nets is on orders. Hopefully they will be in today, and we can place the goals in each location. So,
If you'll get up with Mr. Burt Wayne Worthy out at the prison, I see he could help us build them bigger ones. The bigger, what were they, $1,000, $1,500 a piece for the big ones?
yeah, 17, right at $1,800.
800, he can build them out at the prison a lot cheaper than that, the pipe to do it with, and we just order the net to put across it.
Okay.
Because that's a lot of money for how many goals you gotta have.
Yeah, well, just what I got through emails, a quote about $10,000 just for goals. Yeah, so we narrowed that down, cut it down to 5 goals, PVC pipe. It's right at $600 between net and materials.
We'll get a price on the rod or whatever size pipe you gotta have, and get a hold of Mr. Worthy out at the prison and see, because he can help us with it.
Okay.
When they start the soccer fund?
I think it's October the 3rd is the first game scheduled.
I think so.
Yeah,
Well, it won't take Mr. Worthy long, because he's good, and he'll knock it right out.
okay.
What's the status
Well,
on,
that'd be fine with y'all? Thank you.
yeah, what's the status on the soccer field over there in Kendrick Park? Did you ever get the sand spurs off of it?
Got the sand spur, got the sprinkler system going, grass is coming back up. Talked with Michael yesterday, and I think he said everybody wants to be on the baseball field to keep everybody together rather than using the football field. Have some here and some there to keep everything one central. But we have removed the sand spurs.
Yeah, it looks good. I was out there. It looks,
Okay. Miss Betty Ricketts called me yesterday concerned about the soccer being played out there. So I was wanting to get the board's feeling, trying to get up with the city of Appalachia, trying to use the old football field to play the soccer on. I just told her I would bring it up before the board this morning. She's concerned about all the screaming. So she loves kids, but she just all the screaming and all the, they be trying to get their rest.
Where are they actually playing at now? Or they're practicing right now?
Yeah, practicing on the baseball field, which is adjacent to what's going to be the soccer field. And day of soccer will be in that whole entire area.
Whatever happened to the, I thought they were talking about across the street one time. What happened with that?
That's still in process, product. The FERDAP grant is still in process,
Okay.
I believe. Isn't that right, Commissioner?
I guess so. We weren't approved last year, so we reapplied for it. Was what I
we got to
was
get
saying.
our court system up.
Right.
Yeah, there's no
We
thought.
apply-
You went to
we applied for
you
it.
submitted a grant, so without money, we can't even decide where or what. Thanks.
I don't know. I don't know about if they practicing on the baseball fields. I mean, the same place they play baseball, right?
That's correct. And actually, the baseball, the lights and all will be on out there, but the soccer will just be, I guess, during the day. In the afternoons, be over with.
Well, I understand they didn't want them practicing and playing out there in that open area, but on the baseball fields themselves.
The open area going to be utilized too.
Oh, it is.
Yes, the soccer's grown that much. I think it was 150 players with email last night.
They got 150 kids. They have 16 teams spread throughout
Yeah.
the county. So there's going to be a lot of games going on throughout the county. I think I have here that Appalachia has 3 U6 teams. What,
Yes.
the older kids or the younger kids?
Younger, U6 is younger.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, ages 4 and 5. Appalachia has 3 U6 teams, 2 U8 teams.
Well, what you
I got 2 10 U10.
what you talking about moving the whole thing up there?
Yes.
To the Appalachia
We've
football.
got quite a few teams.
Yeah.
Just
At
be
this,
moving the goals, all you'll be moving, right?
right. At this, I guess it's kind of late at this time. That'd be something we need to look maybe next year, because only the day of ball is going to be where you have to utilize the whole open area. And I'm thinking the regular season they will be on the inside the baseball fields. But that one day it'll be you say 13 teams.
Yeah, 16 teams in general.
Would that create a problem for them practice? All of them, they got that one, they gonna have time to practice on that out here?
Yeah, everybody practice, say, you have East Point practice in East Point, Carabel. Everybody practice just that day of soccer. The open season would be held in Appalachia here out there at DW, and they would utilize that whole big open area and the baseball field. So it's gonna be games played out through the whole complex.
No, what I'm saying is, if you move it out here to
A football field.
where they gonna practice at? Is all of them gonna be able to practice at one time on that field? Or they,
Yes, it's big enough. It would be big enough. Anybody need to practice could practice.
I'm sorry, Commissioners, Appalachia has 10 teams throughout the different age groups. That's a lot.
But again, like I say, it's kind of,
Just check with the city and see what they say about the field and bring it back, see what we can do.
What-
The same thing that happened last year.
But what they say, Mr. Chairman, about the football field is the football field is crowned where the water will roll off of it, you know what I'm saying? Soccer field is more flat because it's crowned like that, the ball's gonna continue to go where it's not where they kicked it, but it's just.
Whatever you
so
think, it's in your district.
I don't-
It's the same issue.
That's the first I've heard of it.
No, but last year, you remember we had it last year, same thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a continual problem. We actually have found that the county owns 6 acres adjacent to the Powell Rivers Road, which is just to the left of where the last baseball field is there. And you know, I'd like to see us have that cleaned and utilize that, and thereby providing the Rickards family that Fonda's referring to. We've talked previously about having a buffer. There's no way to put a buffer between the open space he's referring to out there and these people's houses. If we could move this thing out on Powell Rivers Road, it would create about a 6 acre buffer between there and these houses that we've got the problem with now. And as we move forward, you know, and I think that's where the soccer field needs to go. It would still be adjacent to the complex out there, but it would provide the families living in that area some buffer between the noise and the lights and the screaming and the hollering that he's referring to as the kids play and everybody gets excited. And I think that we've actually submitted this new grant for the soccer field to be placed on those 6 acres of property.
I mean, the game is over early, ain't they? I mean, like
Yes.
by 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Well, there's no lights where he's referring to,
Yeah.
so they can't play in the dark.
right.
Yeah, it's over early.
You know, but you want to try to accommodate people as best you can, but, you know, that many youngins, I mean, they got to have a place to play.
Yeah.
But as we move forward with the soccer field, I think we need to look at a different area to put the soccer field, so thereby providing the residents out there some relief and have a buffer between them. As far as October, I mean, there's nothing that can be done between now and then. We don't even know if we're going to get the grant this year to even build a soccer field, but moving forward, I think that's the direction that we should go as far as where we're going to move this thing to. I don't know how well the football field in the city has been kept up. I don't know, Commissioner Sanders referring to stickers and stuff. I don't know what's out here.
We don't know either.
I don't have a clue. I don't know if the grass has been kept cut. I don't know if the bathrooms work. Those types of issues. I don't know if that's even feasible to move it out of the
Where's the
city.
location at?
It's at the old high school.
And it's
Yeah.
like Smokey said, it's a football field, it's not a,
And it-
soccer field's a different playing ground.
Surface, yeah.
Yeah.
And that football field is rounded, so when it rains, the water gets off the field, which is not bad for football, but it's bad for soccer. So I don't know, Fonda, you got a hard job there, bro. Trying to figure out how to accommodate everybody and make everything work. I know you gotta have restrooms, you gotta have a concession stand where these kids can get something to drink.
Is that
I
the
don't-
only one that's complaining?
Yes, and that come in yesterday afternoon, so.
And you're looking for guidance from the board?
Sir,
You're looking for guidance from the board
yeah.
as to what to do?
We can take care of it. Let's call it back. Yeah, we'll take care of it. Just don't want,
Direct them whatever way.
Yeah, you know.
you just tell me to take care of it and I'll do it.
I just don't know what the facilities are like at the old football field and if that's gonna be feasible, so.
Have you looked at them, Fonda?
No, ma'am. No.
Because that field hasn't been used in a number of years.
Okay.
And I don't know if, I just don't know that we can move it in 2 weeks and get all the facilities up and running and clean, and, it's just gonna be an issue with all that.
Right.
And the soccer games are gonna be during the day?
Yes.
Until we can do better, and until, I'm not the representative of District 4, but until we can do better, I would say, since the games are gonna be during the day, that you're gonna have to have it out there at D.W. Wilson.
Okay.
I mean,
But, you need to
but
get.
look at,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get with Miss Rickards and let her know, on a short time notice, it's gonna be hard for us to make changes, and inform her that the game's gonna be in the daytime.
Okay.
And also inform her that we're looking at placing the soccer field in a different location in order to provide them a buffer and get the lights out of their eyes. And so we're looking to try to accommodate, not as well as the kids, the residents of that area.
Right. Okay, we'll do. That's it.
All right, anybody else have anything for Fonda?
I've got one thing. Alan, can you work, or Michael, can you work with Fonda and let's get the garbage problem out there at Lanark Village taken care of? Because instead of them using the recycling areas and moving on into the streets and into where the people live at and everything, we need to take care of that. And I got calls about it yesterday, and then one or two calls last week. They're tired of seeing all the garbage everywhere. So if you can do that and look into it, and we're gonna have to have some kind of resolution to it.
Is it money on Oak Street, back there on Oak Street?
It's Oak Street, but it's starting to spread on the other inside streets there in the village too. But,
Is that the yard trash or household, everything? Okay.
and a lot of it has to do with the rental properties that are out there. I don't think nobody is maintaining it and looking at what's going on and kind of trying to counteract it and everything. And so if y'all can look at it and see what you can do to eliminate that, because it's such a small area to have that much stuff there. So, but anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Okay,
Fonda.
that's it.
Ms. Pam Brownell, Emergency Manager.
Good morning,
Good
Commissioners.
morning.
I don't have any action items.
Oh, you don't?
Well,
Yep.
Item number 5 on my report is about some good news. The county's comprehensive emergency plan has been reviewed by the Division of Emergency Management and meets the compliance criteria. The plan requires that it be adopted by resolution. There's reference to a letter there, but after talking to Attorney Schuler, he recommends we don't, just do the resolution. So I need board action to approve the resolution, if you're okay with the resolution now, as I sent it yesterday.
Yes, so the form of the resolution is fine, and apparently, in years past, you would adopt a letter of approval, but apparently they've changed that. I've looked at the representation from the state agency that it now has to be adopted by a resolution, so that's good enough for me, and I would recommend the board adopt the resolution approving the CEMP.
I make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I'll get it signed and get it.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Ms. Pam?
Tom, ready?
yes, sir. Hey, prayers are working.
All right, but thank you. Mr. Warren Yeager, you want to come up? Mr. Chris? How you doing this morning?
We're doing great, Mr. Chairman. It's good to be here in the great county of Franklin County and visiting y'all. I'm in a little bit different situation that I've been in previously. I'm now the Restore Act Coordinator for Gulf County, as most of you know. So just wanted to come over and look forward to working with Franklin County in any way that we can. The Restore Act talks an awful lot about regional projects. So we've got some things and assets in Gulf County, and you have some assets in Franklin County that we think we could marry together to put together some good projects. There's a lot of different pots of money. All of us have received a little bit of that so far from NERDA. to our Pot 1 funds and those type things. But there's also a big pot that I call Pot 6 that will go to Triumph, and that will be $1.5 billion to the 8-county region. And we're looking forward to working with Franklin and others in the region. I actually met with that chairman, Chris Holly and I want to introduce Chris here in a moment, but we met with the chairman of Triumph yesterday and talked a little bit about what they were looking for and that type thing. We actually mentioned the Gulf, Franklin, Wakulla, and Bay Area that, you know, that we don't have but one representative on that Triumph board, and he's it. And so he's certainly committed to try to help our region as much as he can with those Triumph dollars. And he talks about regional projects. So we look forward to working with you going forward on that. I also wanted to introduce Chris Holly. All of you know Chris as the past director of the Florida Association of Counties. I talked him in. He had a little fishing house down in Gulf County, so I talked him into coming on board with Gulf County and doing some work on economic development. And as you know, that with Restore, we're kind of married together, trying to do all that we can to make sure that we utilize every pot that we can, and that we leverage every dollar that we can, not only for Gulf County but for the region, because what helps Franklin County is ultimately going to help Gulf, and what helps Gulf is ultimately going to help Franklin. So with that, I want to introduce Chris. I think he's got a couple of comments that he wants to make, and if y'all have any questions, we'll certainly be here to answer those, Chris.
Thank you, Warren. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Pleasure to be in your county. This is kind of a follow-up conversation. Met with the chair and some of the staff, Mr. Schuler, down at the FAC meeting in St. Pete and began this dialogue. I think the specific point I wanted to make sure that I was okay on is that we're submitting an application through the Duke Foundation to do some what's called strategic sites analysis for economic development projects. It's something that was done in 43 counties around Florida through funds provided from Florida Power and Light and from Duke Energy through Enterprise Florida. Our county was not done. Some very preliminary work was done in your county, but we'd like to have your blessing to kind of team up and partner. We're going to look at sites that are in around our port, obviously. Our port and your airport are connected with the railway. So our thought is that we would be allowed to look at a few sites in and around the airport. I know Mr. Lewis, I've known for a long time. We worked together over in Okaloosa County when I was the county administrator there, and I know he's done some work for you at your airport. So I just kind of wanted your blessing to continue the dialogue with staff and to work with y'all and to see if there's some synergy. Obviously, if there's some infrastructure items, you know, cost associated with working at the airport, as Warren said, you know, we're going to have to submit some regional projects through both Pot 3 and through the Triumph board. So probably more than I need to say, but I just kind of wanted the board's blessing to continue to work on this partnership in regional projects. Let me stop and see if you've got questions.
Have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I have a statement to make. We've sat here as a board for a number of years that I've been here in trying to do some job generation for the residents here that is eco-friendly for our bay, but also provide some sustainable jobs here in Franklin County. So I'm eager to see how we can manage and utilize some of these funds to actually be able to bring some jobs to Franklin County. And I think that's been a big concern of all the people of the county is trying to provide diversity in our economics here in Franklin County, but also protect the health and our way of life when it comes to the bay. So I'm interested to as far as my concern is to try to provide those jobs and be innovative in creating some jobs for the people. And you know, I can't speak for the board, but I'm excited that we got somebody and possibly have the funding to move forward on some of these issues.
Yeah, I spoke with him down south. He's got some good projects he wants to do.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing you're finna do. You know the nature. We just want to bring in projects with that wouldn't hurt the bay and everything else. But if you can find them, bring them on.
I think the whole region, we've met with Gadsden County folks, and we're going to go over and meet with Bay County in a few weeks. I mean, the whole region, you know, the port could provide a lot of employment opportunity for a lot of folks in this region if we can get it opened back up and dredged and bring some business in there. And then, like I said, the rail's connected over the airport. Usually ports and airports are, can feed each other. So I think we've got a unique situation here that we want to work together on, and I'm excited to be involved in it. And Warren and I make a good team. We're going around and beating up on everybody, trying to make sure they know our story, and that, this, as he said, Speaker Benz kind of represents this side of the 8-county coalition, and we're just trying to push as hard as we can, get the ball rolling.
I just got one question. Some of these projects that we're working on, especially the other two pots, there's a long timeline to get these sort of into the system. I mean, right now, to my knowledge, there's not a defined application window for these other pots, is there?
No, so the two primary pots, obviously y'all have your pot one, which, you're moving forward with at some point, and you'll have a plan, and when the time comes and you establish criteria, you can have a discussion about whether there's any of the pot one money that would go to economic development or economic projects. Obviously pot 3, which is the consortium's pot. Warren is the executive committee member on that board, and he's also the chairman of the 8-county. When they meet, I believe the managers group is having a call this week.
Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow.
They're talking about how to coordinate and organize around the 8 counties so that there's some communication and some coordination. But the pot 3, if you were at the board meeting that they had at the St. Pete FAC meeting, there was a discussion about a workshop on how to split up the funds that would come to pot 3. That's some $260 million. There was a consensus reached. There hasn't been a vote taken. The vote will take place in November at the FAC Legislative Conference, that the funds would be equally shared between the 15 counties and the 8 counties. So at least some discussion about how those monies will be split up. But they've hired a consultant, ESA, to do a statewide plan. The plan has to go to the governor for his approval and has to be submitted to the federal council for their approval. It'll be probably at least another 2 years, I'm just guessing, before that process all culminates in projects being approved. But the submittal process to get your projects into that pot 3 pot probably will be within the next year. So I think everybody needs to be thinking about and working on ideas that you would submit. Again, as Warren said, they need to leverage multiple pots. I expect that the criteria will give points towards projects that have multiple, leveraging all pots, and that are regional in nature. So a little bit from maybe pot 1, a little bit from pot 3, and maybe show that you're also pursuing Triumph funds through that pot. And if there's any other grants you can get from the state or federal government, obviously multiple pots of money I can't help move a project along. So I don't know if Warren wants to add more, but
no. The only thing I wanted to add was on the Triumph. They really don't stand up officially until they get money. Right. And it looks like to me that the date that they're going to get money is July of next year, because the legislature has to appropriate that into their funds. However, in talking to many of those members, they are interested in moving forward as far as they can get, so they don't start cold on July 1. So I think we all need to be thinking about these regional projects and how to access some of those funds for our regional projects.
And one last question. Are you all, speaking of Warren from Gulf County's perspective, are you all comfortable and satisfied with Dewberry's work as your Restore consultants?
Yes, they've done a good job with us. We've set criteria now. We plan on putting that criteria before the Board of County Commissioners on their next meeting, the 22nd. Once we get that criteria set, we'll start actually accepting proposals for projects for Pot 1. Okay. And so we're quite a far ways down the road comparatively to others.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
On some of these pots, it's so many different pots, but some of them don't have guidelines. Can y'all tell us something about that?
Well, all of them have some specific guidelines. Pot 1 is pretty much your money. And pretty much you can, as long as it qualifies within the Restore Act as an economic or environmental project, which you can just about argue anything for that, you have discretion. You'll probably have 150 different projects that you could actually qualify with Pot 1 monies, but you may not want to do but 2 or 3. So it'll be up to you at the end of the day. You probably will establish a committee to make recommendations to you, but Pot 1 is stipulated that the Board of County Commissioners makes the final decision on that.
They told that